you don't live up to them. And if you have to
I just didn't make any.
Adjust them if you have to, or don't make any. It's an arbitrary thing.
I've got goals.
That's good.
And I try to work towards them.
Period.
To be honest,
yes.
every year in the new year, my goal, my New Year's resolution is to seek balance. For me, that shows up in a lot of ways. I get way out of whack, too focused on this, ignoring this, too focused on work, ignoring family, etc. But for me, my New Year starts on birthday.
My New Year starts on birthday?
On birthday.
On birthday.
On birthday.
Yours.
And,
it is birthday.
This is a slightly unhealthy, toxic one that I have.
Oh, yeah. Give it to me. What do you got?
Well, no, but I'm serious. I ditched my Apple Watch. It's unhealthy. I've talked about different issues with body and blah, 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 image and being in LA for as long as I have. I've done a whole episode about this. And so healthy New Year's resolutions, I think, can be a little toxic. So I've backed off of that. And I ditched my Apple Watch because I always felt in competition with myself. Mm-hmm. But I started to feel in competition with myself on my step counts again. So last year I wanted to get my step count average pretty high, and I did it. And this year I'm trying to dial that back to just not look at that anymore.
Oh, that's good. That's not toxic.
No, you're right. I phrased this wrong. Trying to leave behind that toxic mentality, but while still being active. I feel good when I get a good amount of steps, but I don't need to be looking to see, did I hit 7,000 steps today? Yeah. And get out of here. You're fine.
Sometimes you can, make that number higher, challenge yourself, but don't have it be this pressure that's constantly there.
And now Stephen Miller's going to know how many steps you took, so.
Oh.
I don't want, the only person I want knowing how many steps I have or place is China. I want them to know how many steps I've been taking. Not Stephen Miller.
Not Stephen Miller.
Get your grubby little hands out of my data, Stephen.
Yeah.
I guess it's time to talk about the news.
Sure.
And late breaking news that I did discover on my phone earlier today, and Jonathan has included in our doc, is that David Lynch died.
Devastated.
Yeah. It's upsetting.
It's very sad.
He was just a true artist, someone who kind of didn't compromise, let people into his vision, closest as any filmmaker has gotten to just what it's like being inside a dream. Sometimes uncomfortable, visually arresting. For my 40th birthday, my wife rented out a small movie theater and invited a bunch of my friends, and we watched Mulholland Drive.
That's amazing.
Which is a movie I saw when it came out in 2001 and stuck with me more than any movie that came out in such a formative time.
That time, yeah.
In my life. And it's still one of my favorites, and I think the guy just had something, just a true creative. So he'll be missed. Special,
unique, maybe just the most unique filmmaker, storyteller out there.
And a super funny guy, too.
Oh, just an amazing personality.
He seems like a very fun person to hang out with.
Yeah, I think this is, I saw a tweet earlier. I'm going to read it, by David Ehrlich that I think encapsulates a lot of it too. David Lynch gave us the language we needed to better articulate the indescribable strangeness of our shared reality. Lynchian is so overused because it's a viscerally understandable word without any known synonyms. I can't imagine a more beautiful artistic legacy than that. And I find that's that to really be very true and very succinct and well said.
People describe things as Lynchian when they're not really, but then when, I after I saw the TV Glow came out, which I think is one of those movies that is very original and you can tell was greatly inspired by David Lynch, but isn't just derivative of it. And so when that movie gets described as Lynchian, I think it's like one of those highest compliments.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is our show today, folks. No, it's not.
We did it. We did it.
There's a lot to get through. We will be talking about the fires, I'm assuming, because that's very prevalent in all of our lives. But we're going to start with something else.
Surprising/unsurprising news.
Surprising/unsurprising news. They're getting it done. Maybe. I am, of course, happy that there is progress. It scares me what's on the other side of this progress. And The unsurprising part is, we knew that this was going to happen. We knew that Netanyahu wasn't going to make a deal with Biden. That is not a pass to Biden in any way, shape, or form. I do not believe he has worked tirelessly and done everything that he needed to do, or literally anything to get to this point. But we did know, it's been well reported, that if Trump won, that Netanyahu would try to give him the credit for this. So, Jonathan, walk us through.
Yeah.
And I'm also not saying that there wasn't some work done necessarily. I don't know.
I mean, we can get into it, but I think it less than good job Trump. I think so much of it is like, what a terrible job Joe Biden.
Yeah.
What a travesty. What an utter failure. I mean, sure, I don't know. We don't know the details of it necessarily.
No, we don't.
And there are reports of like, this person, everyone's trying to take credit for it. But the fact that it is happening now is, I think, a pretty devastating indictment on Joe Biden's legacy. Even if it was like inevitable in the sense of like, no matter what I do, it's going to happen after the election because Netanyahu wants this. And obviously, with like what Miriam Adelson's influence on Trump, the aftermath of this is going to probably be bad. But a ceasefire is good. But it does seem like, even if like we all knew that this was going to happen, and even if it was like, there's nothing I can do, Joe Biden could have communicated that. Withholding
a lot of things he could have done.
Weapons, even if it didn't accomplish this, would have accomplished something, which is they would have fewer weapons to carry out what they were doing. But yeah, we'll get into more details.
You touched on a few things already. So what we know right now, as of Thursday afternoon, the things can change real quickly by the time you hear this. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire agreement. Phase 1 would see the release of hostages and prisoners on both sides and a 6-week pause in fighting in Gaza. And then, provided everything goes smoothly, quote unquote smoothly in that process, Phase 2 would see all remaining Israeli hostages freed and the complete removal of the IDF from Gaza. However, Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday expressed some hesitation about this deal. He says it's Hamas that's holding things up. We know how that goes. He wants the IDF to remain in the Philadelphia corridor, which is just the border between Gaza and Egypt. It's only like 14 kilometers long or something. So it's a very thin corridor there. But he's like, the IDF has to stay there. And of course, before Phase 2 could happen, there would have to be an agreement about who is governing Gaza, because Hamas says it's Hamas and Israel says, no, there can't be any Hamas. But as Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said, there's as much Hamas now because of recruiting as there was 15 months ago.
One of the many things that was said a year and a half ago, or I guess, a year and however many months, this whole time, we'll continue. There's so many things of like, you mean that thing we've said for a year? Oh, you mean that thing we've said for a year? Oh, you mean that thing we've said for a year? It's all happening exactly as predicted.
And this deal that I just described is extremely similar, basically the same as what has been on the table for 8 months. So to get into the who gets credit, the New York Times reported that the Biden administration's Middle East envoy, Brett McGurk, has been working for months behind the scenes on this deal, and that he's been in communication with Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, but that Witkoff wasn't, on the ground negotiating between these two sides. However, a diplomat told the Washington Post, a diplomat who was briefed on the ceasefire deal, but maybe not part of it themselves, said that Trump's influence was very important and that this was, quote, the first time there has been real pressure on the Israeli side to accept a deal. And that's kind of the real sticking point here. That's the whole ballgame.
I think that the pressure was, hey, we told him we'd end this once I'm in office, so what are we going to do?
Or the pressure is, hey, you got to do this now and give Trump a win, and if you do that, we look the other way on all the West Bank stuff.
Which is pretty much what I've been assuming this whole time. Well, at least since we started getting reporting that Netanyahu would wait till Trump was in office. I'm like, yeah,